Welcome to ChemFire, where we discuss topics related to chemistry, physical science, and earth science. Today we're going to be discussing the 10 basic cloud types. It is important for you to know the 10 basic cloud types, but looking at this list, it can seem like an overwhelming task. What do these names mean? How do they even name clouds? Let's begin with looking at how clouds are classified. Clouds are classified by 1, the altitude at which they form, and 2, their appearance. Take a sheet of paper and draw this chart. We'll be using this as we learn the key words to cloud identification. First, clouds are classified based on the altitude at which they form. Clouds can form at 3 altitudes. Clouds that form at high altitudes are known as cirrus or cirroclouds. This is your key word. Cirrus, cirro means clouds that form at high altitudes. Clouds that form at middle altitudes are known as alto clouds. This is the key word for clouds formed at middle altitudes. Clouds that form at low altitudes do not have a key word. Now, it may be difficult to determine whether a cloud has formed at a high or a middle altitude, so there will be other clues that we'll discuss using their appearance that will help you with this. Second, clouds are classified based on their appearance. Clouds that appear puffy are cumuliform clouds. These are clouds that will grow vertically in the sky. The key word for these clouds are cumulio or cumulus. Clouds that form in layers are stratiform clouds. These are clouds that form horizontally across the sky. The key word is strato or stratus. Lastly, clouds are named based on whether or not they form precipitation. Now, it may surprise you to learn that it is quite difficult for clouds to produce precipitation. There are only 2 of the 10 cloud types capable of producing precipitation. The key word for clouds able to produce precipitation is nimbo or nimbus. Now, let's go ahead and put that together in our chart. On the vertical axis, I have listed the altitude at which clouds form: high, middle, low. Across the top, I have listed their appearance: puffy or layer, and then I've included the exception. Here you'll see all 10 cloud types. Let's go through and take a look at each one and how we can identify them. We're going to begin with our high altitude clouds. Cirrus. Cirrus is a high altitude cloud that appears thin and wispy and is a common cloud. At high altitudes, the temperatures are very cold, and so any water vapor is going to be an ice crystal. Also, there are very fast winds at these high altitudes that blow these ice crystals, and so that is what gives the cirrus clouds their wispy appearance. A second high altitude cloud is cirrostratus. Cirro for high altitude and stratus for layers. A cirrostratus cloud is a thin, uniform, white layer cloud that covers part or all of the sky. Because this is a cloud that is made out of ice crystals, it is transparent and the sun still shines through it, and you can sometimes still see the blue sky. A third high altitude cloud is our cirrocumulus. Cirro, high altitude. Cumulus, puffy. This cloud appears as very small patches or ripples, and this is a little bit more unusual, but this is what it looks like. Sometimes this cloud looks like scales on a fish. Now let's look at our middle altitude clouds. Altocumulus. Alto meaning middle altitude, cumulus, puffy. This cloud looks very similar to our cirrus cumulus cloud. But as you look at this picture, you'll see that the puffs are larger. Why would the puffs appear larger in an altocumulus cloud? That is right. Alto means that the cloud formed at a middle altitude, which is closer to the ground, which is closer to us. So those puffs are going to appear larger. One way of being able to identify this cloud is to hold your hand at arm's length with your thumb up. Each of those puffs will be about the diameter of your thumbnail. Using this trick will help you determine whether it is a cirrocumulus or an altocumulus cloud. A third middle altitude cloud is our altostratus. Alto for middle altitude, stratus for layers. This is a gray cloud layer. It's thick enough that objects on the ground do not cast their shadow. Altostratus clouds that begin to form precipitation are called, that's right, nimbostratus. Remember, the key word nimbo is for a cloud that produces precipitation, and stratus is for the appearance of layers. This is our gray cloud layer that produces precipitation. The precipitation is usually gentle, constant, and covers a large area. Nimbostratus do not produce thunderstorms. Here is a picture of a nimbostratus. Lastly, our low altitude clouds. If you recall, what is the key word for low altitude? That's right, there wasn't a key word for low altitude. So our low altitude clouds are named for the way that the cloud appears. A stratocumulus. Let's think about what these key words mean. Strato means layers, cumulus, puffy. So a stratocumulus cloud is a lumpy layer cloud. One way to identify this cloud is again to stretch your arm out, but this time make a fist. Each puff should be a fist width apart. The second low altitude cloud is the cumulus cloud. These are the clouds that resemble balls of cotton. And these clouds can have varying degrees of vertical development. When our air is stable, the clouds just appear as puffs. However, as the air becomes unstable, these clouds will grow vertically. When a cumulus cloud has grown vertically, it is capable of producing thunderstorms and it becomes a cumulonimbus cloud. These clouds are capable of heavy rainfall over a concentrated area. They produce lightning, hail, and sometimes can turn into tornadoes. Remember that clouds are classified based on 1. Their altitude at which they form, and 2. Their appearance. There are 2 key words for the altitude at which clouds form. If clouds form at a high altitude, cirrus or cirro is the key word. If clouds form at a middle altitude, alto is the key word. And there are 2 key words for how the cloud appears. If the cloud appears puffy, the key word is cumulo or cumulus. If the cloud appears in layers, the key word is strato or stratus. And our last key word is whether or not our cloud is capable of producing precipitation. Remember, if a cloud is capable of producing precipitation, it is given the name nimbo or a nimbus. And there you have it. The altitude at which clouds form, the key words, cirro and alto, and the appearance of clouds. Is it cumulus or stratus? And then our exception, whether clouds are able to produce precipitation, nimbo or a nimbus. I hope that learning these 5 key words and understanding how clouds are classified will help you learn these 10 basic cloud types. Thank you for joining us.